Alright, so what we're going to be making now is a classic pitcher. So a pouring pitcher with a spout and a handle. The handle won't be in the video, nor will the slip trail design, but classic pitcher. So I'm going to go basic mechanics, elbow in the hip, centering. First I'm going to get it stuck to the wheel. The way I get it stuck to the wheel is 1, pressing down, 2, I link my pinky right down here. So then I'm going to cone up, cone down, cone up again, okay. So this is a bit more clay than maybe a mug or a bowl. It's about 3 pounds of clay. It's just under 3 pounds, I just weighed it. And I want to be able to get about an 8-inch pitcher out of this. And the only reason I know that is because I've thrown quite a few of these. And 3 pounds tends to be just right for me. So I just felt an air pocket pop out of there. And that's for me wheel wedging or coning up and coning down. That bubble would have caused me a little bit of grief. Sometimes they blow out in the kiln. Blow a little hole in the side of my pitcher, that's all I need for something that's supposed to hold liquid. So now I'm going to open, keeping my elbows to my body. My thumb is going to be my trajectory, and my right hand is going to be my power. So I'm going to push straight down. And if you can't reach, like your hands, like I have big hands, if you have smaller hands, you can do what's called the cobra, elbows to your hips, and you just go like this and push straight down and just hold still. So now I'm going to measure the bottom, just out of good habit. I want to leave the bottom kind of thick. So it's a little more than a 1/4 inch, so that way I can put a nice deep foot on it. It'll look nice on a pitcher. A little bit more speed. I'm going to patch that hole. Now I'm ready to open. So I'm going to open out towards myself, and I can really hold still by using my body, not just my arm strength or my hand strength. So I'm going to open this as wide as I want the foot of my pitcher. So the foot of my pitcher is going to be this wide. Okay? Then I'm going to compress the bottom, prevent cracking, and also just to make a nice flat floor. While it's handmade, it's always good to learn precision, and later you can go and be creative. I'm going to do a little swirl on this one, on the bottom. Then I'm going to recenter. So right here I see a little bit of a wobble that will throw me off as I'm pulling it up, and I'll end up having to cut that off at the top because it'll be a little higher than the rest. I'm going to recenter using the base of my palm. I push here, put my thumb on top, and you can use your thumb here, but my thumbs are a little too long, so I use my pointer finger here until it holds still. Okay, I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. Put a little water on the inside. I don't put water on the outside just because I already have water on my sponge. Now I'm going to do my first pull. I'm going to do a crab claw. So I'm literally going to squeeze and come up, but my sponge is also going to help. So it's like doing 2 pulls at once. Okay, the sponge is kind of drying out on me on the outside. Okay, and I compress my lip. So notice I went volcano. Anytime I want to go tall, I want to throw in a volcano shape. If I was throwing a bowl or a platter out here, then I could bring it out. But in this case, I want to go up first. So another pull, water on the inside. And I really want to compress this clay in here. We're getting more advanced. So I want to make sure I push that clay. And I'm pushing from the inside too. That's what creates this little bulge right here. So then I'm going to pull that clay up. Running out of water again. I just lighten my touch if I start running out of water. It's good to get used to lightening up the touch, especially if you're going to throw some other clay bodies that you're not used to, like porcelain. Can't be quite as aggressive as you can stoneware. So another pull. So again, pushing in that clay. I want to make sure I'm using all of it. leaning on my tray there. Shouldn't do that. Okay, get that little chunk off. So I like to clean my sponge of the slip. Just makes for a nicer pull. Sometimes I'll wash my hand off a little bit in my bucket as well. Just clean it up. Add a little bit more water. Do another pull. You'll notice on that pull, if you've watched it, when I pulled, my hand started here, and I slowly started to turn here. Be careful with that. I use my knuckle, but if I use the tip of my finger, it could catch. Just trimming off a little bit off the bottom there, but it could potentially catch and ruin my pot, so be careful with that. Okay, this pull I'm just kind of checking to make sure my walls are nice and even. Pretty much got the height out of it. And I want to make sure it's nice and straight, so you'll see I went out there a little bit. Doing that on purpose so I can show you collaring. Okay, so I'll collar that in to make it even with the rest. So collaring is just 3 points of pressure. Here, here. I use either these two or these two fingers, and I'll squeeze, and then my thumbs together in one spot. So just basically collaring. Go slowly. You want to go small increments. If I go in all at once, it'll wrinkle my lip. Okay, press my lip. So I'm going to check my height, make sure I made the 10-inch requirement, or 8-inch, excuse me, I know that's not 10. So I am at about 8 3/4. Okay. So I'm gonna rib off the outside, basically get another pull out of it. So come in here, start my pull. It's really not even a pull, you're just kind of thinning walls. Getting the slip off the outside. Getting the slip off the outside actually makes it a little sturdier too. A drier clay will be a little sturdier when I push out the belly. So I'm going to push out the belly now for a shake, so it'll hold a lot more liquid. Okay, and then I'm going to go back and just refine that. I want to make sure it's nice and even all the way around so it doesn't wobble so much. Little wobbles are okay. I mean, you see a little wobble there, but if I stop the wheel, you won't see it. But I am going to go back and just clean it up a little bit. Make it nice and round and even. Before I go too far out, I want to make sure I trim the bottom off too, from the outside, with my modeling tool. So I'm going to trim off the bottom. I'm actually going to use the popsicle stick side. Just trim off a little bit. Put that in the recycle. Okay, so again, I'm just going to belly this out. It's a little dry on the inside, so I'm adding a little moisture on my hand. So just a little belly. Just kind of cleaning up some lines there. I got some throwing lines from my rib. I can clean those up later. So now I'm going to collar in just a little bit, just to make my flow of my pot so it's not so disjointed. Give it a little bit better sense of unity. Okay, and the way I do that sometimes too is I just come down here and just kind of follow the shape of the pot. So on the way up, I saw that I kind of liked that little jut and that little jutting out shape. So I'm going to leave one of those by just doing a pull and stopping right there. I'm going to clean up those little clay lines. Okay, I'm gonna thicken my lip just a little bit for a picture, just a little. Clean it up, get some of the slip off. Okay, I'm gonna use my rib just to round this off a little. Now pictures with a thicker rim, sometimes they pour a little funny, or a really thin one will drip. So I want to make sure it's just like a 1/4 inch thick, about that range. And then it's also the way you shape your spout. So this one is already going out a little too far. So I'll just push it back in, get the slip off. I'll push it in just a little bit. Okay, so don't change the shape that I liked from that rib. Oops, push it in a little bit. Okay, now it's time to make the spout. I want to make sure my hands are nice and clean. They don't have to be totally clean, just don't want any chunks of clay on the lip. Okay, so the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take 2 fingers right here, and then 1 finger right here. Okay, so here and here, and I'm going to push. I'm pushing back with this hand. This hand's just staying here, and I push back with these 2. And then I pour up. Okay, so I'm going to do it again, just to even things out a little bit. And this little stroke at the very end, this one doesn't do a whole lot, but that little stroke at the end will make sure that it pours nice and evenly. Then I'll get rid of some of these little slip marks. Some of those you can clean off once it's leather hard. Okay, that is the most basic spout that I can show you. They pour really well. My dad's been making these for years. I like a little bit snazzier spout. So what I do with these is after it gets the leather hard, I'll add a couple of coils from here to here. So as soon as these little arches start, I'll add a couple coils, really small coils about the size of a pencil. Then I'll add 1 more at the very end, and I'll blend it, and I'll bring a spout out that's a little bit further this way. So if you want a longer spout, you just need to add more clay, be a coil, slab, whatever, and you can make a really long spout if you really want to. But again, these pour really well. So at this point, I'd be done until the next day. I'll trim this, then I'll add a handle to it at some point, or after a slip trail design. So this one I'm gonna have you guys do a slip trail design. So I'm gonna get a little squirt bottle, a little hair dye bottle. You're gonna thin out some slip, and you're going to either do a dot design of some sort, or you can do slip trails, swirls, anything that is up to your imagination. So that's the picture.